Okay, it's a couple minutes past the hour, so let's get going here. So we'll do roll call, and maybe by the time of the roll call, we'll have a quorum, but let's start with that.
David Nightingale.
Here.
Chad Sutter.
Present.
You. Emily Klaus.
Here.
Hello. Bob Ayal. Kelly Green. Nicholas Dunning. Joan Cathy. David Johnstone. And David Johnstone is a new member of SWAC from City of Young. Elaine Clam.
Yes.
Laura Wilson. Laura is our new representative from Town of Bakota.
She's online.
And she is here.
Yes.
She's here. She's just muted.
Okay.
Lisa Harrison is excused. Jane Appling is excused. Greg Schoenbachler.
Yep, Greg's here.
Hello. Aaron Robertson.
Morning.
Morning. Christina Kohlberg.
Here.
Hello. And that does it for roll call.
So we got 7 out of the 8 that we need for a quorum. So we can't make any official motions or actions, but we can go ahead and go through our agenda nonetheless.
Yep.
Yes.
Real quick, Nicholas Dunning says he needs the link. You send out an email or something?
Okay.
Somebody
Yeah.
send him a link.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that was in the email that went out on last Thursday, that had the agenda and everything, had a link in that as well. So if he, but we can send him a fresh one. Well, while we're doing that, I'll go ahead with the introduction of guests. So it looks like we have from Public Works, we got Amanda Romero in the room with you there. Laura Glover, of course, has been
Hello.
also there. April Rowe, I see, is online.
Hello.
Rob Pudner, I believe, is in the room with you there.
Good morning.
Maggie Brown as well, another education outreach.
Morning.
And I saw Hope somewhere. Where did she go?
Yes.
Oh, there she is.
Hi.
Hope Springer,
I'm here.
also here. I know I saw you. From the commissioner's office, we have AJ Mai. Oh,
Here. Sorry.
no problem. Let's see. I see from public health, I see Jessica Goulet.
Hello.
Things moving around here. Kylie Graber,
Good morning.
Kimberly Graham, and Jennifer Johnson.
Good morning.
And then from let's see, City of Olympia, I see Ron Jones.
Here, thank you.
And let's see. Also from Public Works, Matt Samuelson.
Good morning.
And since Councilwoman Kelly Green has now joined us, we now have a quorum.
Nick Dunning is now here too.
Thank you.
Great. Got a quorum plus. Excellent. Anybody else didn't get introduced yet? Identify themselves.
I think we got them all.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. So we've got an agenda. Hopefully all of you received that. And so is there anything we need to add, remove, change, modify in any way in the agenda for today? Okay, not hearing or seeing anything, in which case we need to move to adopt the agenda.
I so move to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Okay, so Kelly seconded and Elaine made the motion. All in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. All right, we've got an agenda. All right, so let's look at the minutes from last June. We didn't do July for people that do vacations. And we did a little field trip out to the wharf, which was great. So we have to look back to June for those minutes, and I looked through them. And is there a motion to accept the agenda, the minutes at this point in time?
We also made an amendment to the minutes, just so everyone's aware. I can send that out after the meeting. It was added to the roundtable discussion for the minutes. It was a paragraph of David Nightingale here detailing his metrics.
The discussion that I had.
Yeah.
It wasn't really clear kind of what was going on there, so I just added some stuff, and that would have been, I sent that out to everybody that the minutes went out to originally, so hopefully people had a chance to see that, and that was earlier this week.
Motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Lane.
Thank you.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Great. All opposed? No? All right, we've got adopted minutes as amended. Thank you very much. And then we always have public comment. So anybody who's not a member of the SWAC, anything anybody would like to say before we get into the rest of the agenda? You can raise your hand virtually or say something. I'm not hearing or seeing anything. So there's no old business listed, the new business, various items. So Jeff, looks like you're up first with 7A.
Okay, thank you very much. What this is so in Thurston County Ordinance in 15.14 in particular, it has to do with basically, for accounts that we have in the solid waste program is, what we, when we can start, when accounts are considered delinquent, and we can apply a kind of a penalty charge. And the other piece of it has to do with when accounts are over a certain time overdue, we can basically shut off any new charges to that account to keep them from just continuing to rack up. So it's quite old. So I know we sent this out. The first, there's a lot of just legalese in this draft ordinance. The first piece would be the penalty rate. So as it reads right now, it's upon any solid waste account becoming 60 days delinquent, a 12% per annum penalty or 50-cent minimum charge will be added to the amount delinquent. We're looking to that's getting quite a ways out there. We try not to, don't really want to let our accounts get that far delinquent. So the proposal will be to change that to becoming 30 days delinquent. And then the other piece that is being affected here is the notice of overdue accounts. It currently reads, periodically, but not sooner than 90 days after any utility account becomes due, the Director of Public Works or their designee shall send notice to customers that no further charges will be accepted until the balance of account is paid in full. And 90 days is a long time for, particularly with us, it's a long time to be racking up charges. It can potentially end up into the thousands of dollars. So the idea would be similarly to ratchet this one down to anything that's 60 days, from 90 to 60 days overdue. And that really is the gist of this, is going into and just updating code to keep accounts from being as overdue as they can possibly become. So we're bringing this to you. It's been reviewed internally by our accounting and their financial staff. We're bringing it to you at this point just to get you any feedback you might get and opinions. And then ultimately, this obviously as a ordinance change just ultimately would have to go to the Board of County Commissioners for a review of public hearing because it's an ordinance piece and ultimately, hopefully adoption. So, right,
Jeff,
we're at the step where, yes.
Are the accounts net 30 to begin with though? So this is 30 days after a net 30, or are they?
Correct. That is correct. Yeah. So yeah, so they had the first 30, which is not overdue. It's basically that gives them that opportunity to pay. It's beyond that point. So basically it's 30 days after your initial net 30. So basically it's 60 days after the charge essentially. So is for the first piece for the penalty, and then so I was looking for feedback, any comments. I know it's a minor issue, but again, it's something that we want to bring in front of you just to get any feedback before we move any further.
Hey, Jeff.
Go ahead.
Yes.
A couple questions on the penalty rate amount. It says 50 cents or 12% per annum penalty. 50 cents. I mean, it says or, and should that be whichever is more? Is 50 cents actually even make sense these days? When did this go into effect? 1927 or something like that?
Yeah, I mean that's if if the account was overdue by such a small amount, that where 12% was less than 50 cents. It's just, I know that was just a de minimis number. So because I mean you're right. It should be $1 or something. It could be. It's just to have a de minimis amount to even make it worth our time to even do it. And we could take a look at that.
So 12% per annum could be less than 50 cents in some cases. Is that what you're saying?
It could be because it depends on what's overdue, right?
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
Really, it depends on what that dollar
If the
amount.
bill was $100 and they paid 99, only $1 would be due, and so 12% per annum wouldn't add up to anything.
Exactly. Just yeah.
Okay.
I think the changes of time are no brainer. I mean, it's terrible to let accounts go out that far. Your likelihood of collecting becomes much reduced. It
Agreed.
diminishes the further you go out. So ratcheting that up is good business. That's my 2 cents. That's my 50 cents. How about that?
I like it.
Yeah.
Any other comments, concerns?
Yeah, the other
Feedback?
thing that I was a little confused about was in the notice for overdue accounts, the last line says, notice to customers that no further charges will be accepted. And I'm sure that makes sense for an accountant, but I'm not sure someone understand what that means practically. Does that mean they're not going to get garbage service anymore?
Well, since this is for us, since we don't provide curbside service, this would be showing up at the work or our Dropbox sites. So in other words, if they showed up and they had, basically we wouldn't allow them to dump. We'd turn them away until they paid their bill. So we would not accept their waste at the facilities. So that's how it would apply
that might
to
be
us.
maybe that would be a good thing. And no more waste would be accepted at our facilities. Would that be clarifying there, or would that be too restrictive?
Well, since this might actually apply to other public works utilities, I don't know if I want to get specific about saying waste, because there could be water bills or other sewer bills, or that. Well, that's probably wouldn't.
Well, at the beginning, it
That
says
wouldn't really apply,
solid
actually.
waste charges, so it's limited to solid waste.
It is solid waste, yeah, because they can't shut those off. Well, let me look at that. They may be able to provide some clarification on that.
Yeah, I mean, that would make it, I think, more clear to somebody that this is the implication. Accounting charges sound like, I'm not sure that. Yeah, just trying to make it real.
It could be that no further disposal will be allowed until the balance. How would that?
That would be nice, I think, to help clarify that.
Until the balance of account is paid. Okay, we could change those 2 words. That'd be easy enough.
I was going to say that would make it more clear.
Okay, I like it.
Good.
What about disputed charges? Would those be exempt? Would the customer still be able to dump?
I would presume so if something's in dispute. And usually it's going to come up earlier than that, but I mean, that's not very common. Not for us. I mean, usually But it does happen occasionally, but not great. And usually that wouldn't drag out like that. Honestly, we don't have that many accounts. We don't, not unlike some other jurisdictions, we don't float a lot of credit. There's some commercial customers, larger commercial customers that do obviously, the en route and those haulers, obviously, and they're not ever really the problem. It's some of the other larger commercial ones that kind of grandfathered into some of these that they've, they're often enough where they have an account. So we have had a few where it's gotten out of hand. So again, and as I think Greg mentioned, the further out it goes, the harder it gets to collect. So it's better to be more responsive on it. Any other comments? So what we do have this listed as an action item with the change in the section 2 with the last sentence about being no further disposal will be allowed until the balance. Is this something that you as a group would be interested in passing a motion that are in favor to move this forward ultimately to the Board of County Commissioners for their consideration?
I think that would be helpful for the board to have that recommendation or motion from us.
Jeff, just as one like devil's advocate here, though, if you limit people from being able to dump, then does that waste end up in places that you don't want it?
Well, that's always a possibility. For anything, if anything, we might have to turn down because we do get people who bring up inappropriate or things that unacceptable items that we have to turn away because we can't, for example. So, we'll try to find or recommend suitable disposal sites for those certain items, but it's a challenge. I mean, but it's either that or I'm sorry, what's that?
And how would that affect flow control? If you're turning them away, then they're gonna go to a different county potentially.
Well, Aaron, obviously, we don't turn you guys away. Our flow control particularly applies, doesn't apply to private self haulers. It applies to
You're saying
businesses that haul.
Aaron's delinquent on his bill right now?
No, I would never say that.
I don't know why you all of a sudden brought me into it, but I'm just asking.
So,
We're talking other contractors, so
yeah.
So
flow control in particular, it's commercial haulers like, for example, yourself in Olympia, and other commercial haulers like for example, like I'll say if Got Junk picks up in Thurston County, they would need to, bring it here. But private self-haul that doesn't apply to them. If you're a private self-hauler, you can haul it wherever the heck you want to haul it. We don't control that aspect.
Great. Any other questions or discussions? I would suggest we would like to make a recommendation for adoption to the board.
Kelly has had her hand up. She's
Okay.
Thanks, Chad. Yeah, I have one follow-up to Chad's question. Jeff, are you aware of, or have you talked to, is there any other option? Is there any other tool that other entities use to, in lieu of turning away, their ability to dump? Are there any other tools that other jurisdictions use, or is this kind of this is the only tool in our toolbox? Is because I fully support we can't let delinquent accounts just go on and on. But do you know if anybody uses anything else?
Not that I'm aware of. And it's, this existing rule has been in there for a very long time. We're just shortening it up a teeny bit. Yeah. And this is from, I forget this.
1983, did I read?
And so it's been something like that. It hasn't changed since the 80s.
I think that's
it's
what
getting
I
a little
read.
archaic. Yeah. It just needs freshening up. Again, it doesn't affect that many people, but we've had a couple that once you get out that far that have been harder to collect on. So it's just, and honestly, most people pay with a credit card nowadays. So that this doesn't, wouldn't apply to those. So it's just, it's kind of it's a small subset of customers, essentially.
Yeah, and Jeff, it might be helpful to explain that this private residents or private, households would have an account at our facility. It would only be businesses.
Yeah.
So
We're
a
pretty limited
household
on
couldn't
that
go
as well.
delinquent
Yeah, we don't give accounts to the self-haulers typically.
Jeff,
I say that we
make a
move
motion
ahead.
to approve it as amended, or excuse me, as presented.
Is that a motion? Yeah, I'll second that.
So Kelly, are you suggesting that we put in the additional phrasing on section 2 or not?
Yes, I am proposing that we put in that phrasing on section 2.
Okay, great. Thank
But I
you.
didn't write down the specific phrasing, so.
That's okay. It's been
I got it.
recorded, so, and Jeff said it a couple times, so we'll take one of his versions and use those. Somebody, who seconded it?
It was Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
Yeah.
All right, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of recommending to the Board of County Commissioners that they make this change to ordinance, please say yes.
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 Those opposed say no. All right, we've got that covered. Thank you very much, Jeff.
Thank you.
Yeah, so now rate study communications plan, Zach.
Let's see.
I didn't hear that he was with us. Is somebody else able to speak to that agenda item? It's not.
Well, maybe let me just propose, Dave, while we try to roust out Zach, is maybe we could just switch B and C and just switch the order. Would that be acceptable?
Fine with me. Now I have to do something real. Yeah.
Let me share this screen.
Okay. So it's the introduction. I'm the large part of my professional career has been working on planning for and implementing household hazardous waste collection, recycling, disposal, that sort of stuff. So, and I've actually published a lot in this area. And actually, on August 1st, this what I'm presenting here was published in Waste Advantage magazine. If you get that, or you can go to it and find it. But I've actually, this is based on a survey that I did in the last month about the riskiness or, so am I in presenter mode here?
Yes.
Of reusing household hazardous waste in the public. So let's see, so if I can just, if I go like that. Okay, so we had a presentation about the good work that's happening out at the Hazard House right now, working with nonprofits and having them be able to take good products from the Hazard House. And actually since then, I heard that Department of Ecology developed a policy on reuse of household hazardous waste. So I'll go over that a little bit and then show you what I found out from a national survey that I did, like I said, last month. But something I've heard, over many years is, one of the first things people say is, well, we open ourselves to, huge lawsuits and liabilities and that sort of stuff if we allow people to take, things that we're not sure exactly what it says on the label or, any number of scenarios. And so, risk managers and lawyers are their job is to tell you how you might get in trouble. But I want to find, well, does that really happen? So anyway, here's the Washington policy that is encouraging us to do reuse. And it came out in April. There's the link you can see there. And here's sort of one of the key couple of sentences. So reuse centers, this is HHW reuse. Excellent way to reduce costs of the system, foster practices that are good for the environment by minimizing the waste and giving hazardous materials a second life. When people learn they can get leftover materials, they're most likely to drop off unwanted. So essentially, maybe it's a little bit of a loss leader to get more people to do the right thing with the stuff that they have in their homes. And then it reduces improper disposal and encourages less waste to be produced in total. So this sort of language from Department of Ecology in their one-pager encouraging local programs to consider using reuse of household hazardous waste. So anyway, it's always good to mitigate legal action, so, has to have risk managers and people in place, but it's also another policy that's promoting reuse of waste before you do recycling or disposal or anything else. So in the case of HHW reuse, this is sort of like they're two, pulling in different directions, these two policies. So I thought, well, let's figure out, what are the benefits, what are the issues there, and have people, what has their experience been with doing HHW reuse. And this is not a new thing. This has been going on for decades in various places, and other places have decided never to do it. But what is the actual experience? So I sent out to 4 different listservs around the US. These asking for people to respond in one of these 3 ways. You can respond 1, 2, or 3, and some people said 3, and that was the whole response, which was fine, because I sort of set up, what's the responses we want to hear about. So number 1 is, we've had a reuse program operating for this many years. We haven't had any threats or actual liability issues from public participation. Number 2 is the same sort of thing, except we have had threats or actual liabilities from this public participation. And the 3rd is, well, we don't do that. We don't offer that in our program. So those are the 1, 2, 3. Try to make it really easy to get a large bunch of responses. And then here's what the responses look like. And I was sort of disappointed Washington didn't have very many people responding. But anyway, Florida, California kind of pulled their weight. But you can see a pretty large response. I was very pleased with this. Even I got somebody from Hawaii respond to this, and this was just directly in response to that emails that I sent out. So just asking them those respond 1, 2, or 3, and you can see the numbers there. We need to check if our other presenter is online. Okay, and is that something I do?
I can check.
You want to do that right now in the middle of this presentation?
I'm sorry.
Yes, Zach, are you on now?
I could come back and restart or start from.
Yeah, I'm just checking to see if Zach was able to get on.
Yeah, I'm on now.
Okay.
It says I'm April. I'm not April.
Oh, okay. So I don't know, as the chair of SWAG.
Are you time limited, Zach?
Yes,
You need to be here just for a couple minutes. You have to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why don't we stop this then, and then I will pick it up then when you're done with your presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
no problem.
David.
All right. You're good to go,
All right.
Zach.
Okay, and you're able to see my PDF I've got up.
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't get a calendar invite, and then I've got to rush off to the dentist, so I'll keep it quick. But we've been working with Amanda and Kelly, who's on our communications team here as well, and Hope to develop a rate increase communications plan. And the biggest thing that we are doing with this is tying the information together, both the rates and the reasoning. And we want really to have folks understand that the rates are going up, but it's going to benefit them. So as far as the actual materials and outreach schedule that we've developed, this is it. So we've already started well on our way to getting information out to folks. So the proposed rates are up online, and the FAQs, I believe, are as well. I'll have to double check with Kelly on that one. But there's a standalone webpage we have, and that'll be continually shared out with the public as we go. Hope is working on taking the larger information and breaking it down into sort of bite-sized pieces for folks so that they'll understand the different rates, and those will be shared out on social media. We're going to do that both with the solid waste social media and then on the larger county social media as we go. They'll be more infrequent on the county social media, as that one is a fairly busy account and has lots of things to talk about. We've got signs that we're gonna have for the scale house and the drop box. These will be non-permanent signs, but that explain the upcoming rate increases and highlighting some of those that would be affecting the majority of folks. There's a long list, as you've all seen, with lots of different rates for different things, but we're highlighting those that have the most impact, and then we'll direct folks, excuse me, to the website where they'll be able to find all of the information down to whatever smallest things they might want to dispose of or recycle. We'll have a customer service desk aid, so that will be available to like our admins here at Public Works and also at the work. So folks can, if they're answering a phone, they'll have basically FAQ style customer service desk aid that they can look at for answers for commonly asked questions. We'll also we'll also have that as a handout for the toll booth workers, so that if folks are curious but don't have time to talk through things, or if there's a line, etc., they're able to hand out a small handout. That should be completed tomorrow, and then we'll get it out to the work so that they can start using that. There is a periodical that goes out. Healthy Homes has a newsletter, and there's a article going out that will highlight. It's a way to reach more folks here in Thurston. We had talked about doing some videos on social media, but we're going to pause that to see if how the response is, the traffic we get on the website, and if there's additional questions. And we might do some short explainer videos, but for right now, we're going to pause that idea. The UTC compliant letters will go out. That's being worked on by Amanda. And then as we go, you'll see that social media posts and graphics will be continued by Hope each month from now until January 1st and thereafter, as we continue to help people understand what the rates are, what they've increased to, and why they've increased. So we'll update our FAQs as we go through the fall, continue with the social media posts. We are working on billing inserts. That actually Hope already did. It went out to LeMay because they have to have it way ahead of time, but it directs people to the website, and it has some basic information on rates that are increasing. And with that will be pretty much it, except for we'll do directed postcard to some of those self-haulers and that we see quite a bit, and any other residents we feel like we need to target who may have not had as much communication or been able to participate in our digital or physical communication. And then we go live in January. That's it for me. So I know that Jeff's available. Oh, that is the end of it. I know Jeff is available to go into details on this, but I was just here to kind of let you know the overall view of what we'll be doing.
Thank you, Zach.
Yeah.
That's really good. Thank you, Zach. Any questions, follow up from anybody on for Zach? Jeff, you want to add anything?
Not unless anybody has any questions. I think Zach gave a pretty good feel for some of the breadth of what we're looking to do as far as outreach to the public. So, yeah,
I thought that was it sounded really good to me.
Do you know what the rates are going to be by chance, right off the top of your head?
Well, yeah, it's actually they haven't changed since I know back in April when you guys moved it forward. So if we can send you a fresh one, fresh rate sheet, if you care to.
That'd be great.
But okay, no problem.
Thanks.
Anything else? Any questions from anybody?
Well, thank you for letting me interrupt. And
yeah, I'm glad you could join us. Yeah. Have fun at the dentist if that's possible.
Yeah, it's just a cleaning thing. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
All right.
Thank you, Zach.
Thanks all.
Okay. Okay, back to the US of A.
Is everyone able to see that map?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. So anyway, 63 responses. Actually, if you look at the article online, to 62. I actually got another response since that was put together. So I went ahead and give you all 63 because you guys are important. Okay, great. All right, so 39 of the 63 have HHW reuse. 24 responded they do not have. And I really encourage people that didn't have programs to also reply, just to give an idea about, what kind of proportions there are on these listservs anyway. And amazingly, all 39 of the programs that said they had HHW reuse said they had no threats or actual liability issues from the public participating in their HHW reuse, which I was kind of surprised, with all the times that I've heard, well, we're worried about the liability issues. Nobody's had experience of anything really ever happening. And here's how long the various programs have been going. So some of them, 1 or 2 years, but most of them, a decade to multiple decades long, these programs have been going on. So this was also kind of surprising to me that this many of the survey respondents had this long of a track record of HHW and no problems, none of them ever. So the average of duration of all those 39 that responded was almost 21 years, 20.8 years. That's how long the average of the responses was. Total operating years, 789 operating years without a threat of or actual experience of a lawsuit happening from that. So, it's hard to believe, but I can share the spreadsheet if somebody wants to see the data, but this is what was there. And there's some additional things other than just saying 1, 2, 3. People gave comments. So Central Contra Costa Sanitary District, that's in the Bay Area. They said in the last 28 years of operation, 9.3 million pounds of HHW have been reused locally in their community. Flagstaff, Arizona, 20% of their stuff goes out. They say that people love it. It helps low-income people and folks in reservations, and it saves us processing and disposal costs. Dakota County said in last year they gave away 415,000 pounds of products to residents. And Mesa, Arizona said last year that they did 190,000 pounds. And that was a third of the traditional HHW they collect. And the reason, because I know that program, I asked them to define the traditional HHW because they also accept appliances and all kinds of things that aren't your usual chemical HHW suite. So of the things that are normally in that traditional bucket, a third of that goes out to their reuse swap shops. And then here's actually a little more information I did. This was from a survey I did a number of years ago, and there's a few other, actually Central Contra Costa, that's their annual thing, and they were doing 17% back then. And also some of the numbers that I got from the various programs doing reuse a few years back. So anyway, why they don't have it, the people that didn't have it, liability fears came up on a number of them. A number of them said, we would like to, but we don't have the room to do that and accommodate customer reuse. There's no space for us to do that. We're already too small. One said, if we build a new facility, they'll definitely consider doing that and having reuse. There's one that said, we're going to probably restart ours. Another one said they'll be planning to start it this fall to do HHU. And interestingly, in Illinois, the state Illinois EPA has interagency agreements that forbids reuse of HHW. And the trade-off is that the state takes generator status and pays for transportation and disposal under these interagency agreements, and all the local governments that have programs, they take advantage of, essentially the state is paying for everything for free, and they say, you shall not do any kind of reuse. So that's an interesting twist, like counter to what part of ecology here is saying. It's like, we encourage that. And then hoarders, lack of staff enthusiasm are a couple of things. People, take stuff, and then, 10 years down the road, we end up with this big batch of stuff, somebody's house, and he died, and they've hoarded all this stuff. And then sometimes lack of staff enthusiasm. They just aren't interested, and they just they're not turned on by the idea of doing reuse. It's an additional thing they have to think about. Apparently, I'm not sure what all it is, but anyway, that was one of the programs said that's part of the reason why they don't do it. So anyway, seems like this liability lawsuit issue from programs that have been going in many, many years isn't really supported by actual legal actions. And then the benefits, good products to the community. It's popular, it's a white hat thing. People love it. Reduce operating costs, and then moves materials to a higher level of the solid waste management hierarchy, that policy that I mentioned early on. This is higher on the hierarchy than recycling or disposal. So, here's my answer. Does the potential adverse legal action outweigh the benefits? And I would say no. Risk seems to be minimal for the legal sides, but there's certainly these very significant benefits. So thinking about the Hazel House, right now, we're just doing it for the nonprofits. And only it's limited to, this is just right off of the website for the Hazel House, and it's just available from April to September. So just, the non-snow, non-rainy parts of the year compared to other parts. And then only open during business hours, Monday through Friday. Already doing a liability waiver, which is a lot of what, for instance, the Department of Ecology says you should have this. And then we're already requiring people to identify themselves, sign and date the liability waiver. So some of the elements of the ecology recommendation are already in place in what we've already been doing with our pilot program at the Hassel House. So anyway, the ecology BMPs reflect well on what we're already doing. Liability seems to be not a big deal. But I think that there's a space issue, just like some of the other people said that don't do HHW reuse. I think that probably exists at Hassel House. I think it would be difficult to do large scale Hassel House reuse with the space that's available right now in the building. It's pretty much fully used. If we were to do more, have it to the public as opposed to just the nonprofits, there might be other trainings, maybe administrative things would need to change. But I'm just, putting out the question based on this information to the group here. Should we maybe have a reuse goal? Maybe some percentage of income in MRW we should try to get out as a reuse. But I just wanted to share the information now and just, open it to general discussions, thoughts, concerns, ideas, what have you. So there it is. And I will shut my mouth and let other people speak.
Thank you, David, for that presentation. And I believe I'm having some technical difficulties with our video, so you may not see us. So I'm just gonna turn that off so we get the logo at least. Did anyone have any questions for David?
Just want to say thanks for that. That was really great information, and I'm impressed that so many people did respond to the survey. So that to me speaks really highly that they value those programs, or they've at least had pretty thorough conversations about it. I'm really shocked at how long some of those programs have been around. So it feels like we're pretty late to this party.
Jessica?
Yeah, I was just curious I saw on that map there was 3 household hazardous waste people or facilities that responded to the survey. So how many household hazardous waste facilities are there in Washington as a whole?
There's more than 50. There's 39 counties, and there's just a handful of counties. It's mainly counties less than 50,000 people that don't have a permanent HHW facility in Washington.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And there's going to be some new ones. King County is under construction. Kitsap County is under construction, both with their second facilities as we speak. Kitsap County will be open this winter.
I'm curious if any of the respondents that submitted their information that they do have a program, did they share what materials they do accept or any limitations to what they don't accept?
So this isn't really a question of acceptance. It's what do they put available out to the public? Is that really what you were?
That's what I mean, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And some of them, I think, gave me links to their policy about what they put out. But I think Ecology's their BMP fact sheet outlined that, and it's like really toxic pesticides, so certainly banned, suspended pesticides that are illegal to put out. But some people just say, well, let's just not do pesticides at all. They're designed to kill things, and let's just not put that out. Also, personal care products. So anything you ingest or put on your skin or your scalp, say, that's a risk area where, let's just not even go there. So we don't anticipate people having necessarily any direct contact with these chemicals on their body. So those are the sort of things. Also, something that doesn't have a label on it that's legible to actually know how to use it or identify what it is, that usually gets excluded. So if it's a plastic jug of something and they're not sure what it is, certainly that's not going to go out to reuse because nobody knows what this stuff is. So we don't want to expose people to that kind of hazard either. Does that answer your question?
A little bit. I know right now we don't accept or we don't offer paint as part of our pilot. So I'm just curious if that's common throughout these other programs.
That varies a lot because we have paint care in Washington. That pretty much those architectural paints anyway, they go straight to paint care. Most of that gets recycled in a commercial recycling paint processing thing. Product stewardship with the paint industry pays for that. So they'll pick it up and they'll take care of that. Other places that have space, again, we don't have a lot of extra space in our facility. I'm working with actually a county right now in Sonoma, California, where they've got paint care for a long time. They are building a new facility and they're building in a paint recycling part of their new facility because they continue to want to do that locally. So it varies about that. And some people do reuse too. And you actually can, paint care has agreements with various jurisdictions and you can have a separate contract that says for this many gallons of reused paint, you get paid per gallon for reused paints that you put out to your community because that saves them processing and transportation costs. So there's an ability on the paint side for architectural paint to actually get some revenue if you're putting it out for reuse. Yeah, you're welcome. Obviously, this is something I can go on and on about.
Kylie has a question.
Kylie, go ahead.
Yes, hi. This kind of piggybacks off of the last question on what type of products are made available. And I noticed in one of the testimonials that it explained that the community loves it, the reuse program, especially low income people and folks living on the reservation. So I guess my concern would be providing these household hazardous products back to some of our most vulnerable community members. And I'm just curious on what, if any, type of education is provided about how to use the product safely and store it safely according to the label directions if they are going to use a product that is hazardous to their health.
Yeah, usually there's some language in the waiver that talks about, this is only intended for the use as described on the label, but other than that, there is people that provide information about how to store waste, but a lot of times it's not with a reuse program, but it certainly could be part of it. Yeah. It's certainly something that could be part of it. And some of their, people have reused rooms, there'll be educational placards on the walls and things like that, that educate whatever local jurisdiction thinks is appropriate to provide to the public.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, Kylie.
And to give a little bit of thought about our reuse pilot, we worked closely with public health and we want to make sure that the products we're putting into the community align with the standards that public health puts out there and the recommendations about what products are safe to bring into your home. So that helps us aligning those lists, make it so that we are putting out the same message between public works and public health.
That's really good. Yeah.
Any other questions for David? Any
thoughts about policy establishing anything like that, or from staff or from others?
I have a question more about space. You mentioned that it seems like there's a space issue.
Yeah.
And as we're talking about the reconfiguration of the work, is it too late to consider expansion of Hazo House in that?
Jeff?
It's definitely not in the budget for that, though. That being said, we are in our capital improvement program budget for the next 6+ years. Is we have we are putting money in future years for some house improvements. So it may not be part of the same project, and it might be a separate project, but it would be because I think the reconfiguration project is moderately well defined. But it is something that improvements to house are definitely on the radar for future improvements. So
there a timeline on that would be a time to bring this back up and talk about more, or?
Well, one thing, I mean, as far as talking about it more, as you know, maybe you don't know, is we'll be starting our solid waste management planning process again next year. It's surprisingly, it's already been 5.5 years since the last one. So we're supposed to update that every 6 years. So our current plan is from 2021 through 2026. And so we'll need to probably about mid-year, we'll be queuing up going forward with working on the solid waste management plan. So we can have one for 2027 through 2032. So
Well, that makes sense to have it, because reuse is part of solid waste, obviously. So
yep,
that would be.
It would make total sense to be part of the planning process.
Yeah.
For sure.
I like that idea. So maybe somebody can note that that's something a topic we want to have in that the new solid waste plan. Anything else from anybody? We're almost at time, or no, at least time I want to take. We've got another half hour, but we don't need the whole half hour either.
I was just gonna jump in. This is Jennifer from Public Health, and I really appreciate the way that Solid Waste and Public Works has worked with us on creating some, parameters around the reuse program. Somebody had asked, I think Rob asked about if anybody had said in your survey, Dave, about limiting the available materials accepted, and Portland Metro, Jim Quinn had something about how they don't accept any pest control products. And I really appreciated that because we have such an active gardening education program around pest control. So I think the reuse can be a really great way to get usable materials back out into the community. And I really want to be able to keep working together, moving forward on that, because we just want to make sure that only the safest products are allowed out in the community. And I know that Public Works feels the same way. So I appreciate that. And I did want to mention, in considering design options, something that I think is really important to think about is, so if you're letting people just come in and kind of peruse a shelf, how are you doing that in a way that people are not exposed to the other hazardous materials that are not being given away? So just kind of thinking about those safety things in the design, and I know you would, but that's just something that that we would kind of keep looking at from a public health perspective.
So separating the reuse area physically from the other stuff that's not being reused, is that what you're saying, Jennifer?
That's what I mean. Yeah, it just seems like, particularly if we're looking at, just opening up to the whole public, you're going to have people who have their kids in the car. It raises a lot more of the safety concerns, I think.
Yeah, another just, along those lines about ways that, of course, anything can be abused. And, if you've got hoarders out there, and every county's got hoarders, that people say you can only come every once a month and you can only take 10 items per visit, sort of thing. So that, the people that want to show up every Wednesday and browse for an hour and take 25 things away, you don't allow those people to do that. That it's, it's just, it's, you're not going to necessarily control all of it, but, putting parameters around what you can take and how much you can take and how often you can show up. That's just an example, but, it's possible to control that activity as well.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And I've actually been around long enough to remember that we did have a reuse program at one time. somebody said earlier, that we're late to this party, and actually we did have a pretty active reuse program, and that was one of the big concerns that came up, is that people would just take everything because it was free, and yeah. So I think kind of learning from our past experiences to limit frequency, and then certainly limit the number of materials that can be taken is a good way to go.
Yeah. And also monitoring, if you have a separate room that's happening, how do you monitor it? How do you control what's going on in there and make sure things are going right? So there's a staffing issue there too. Anyway, any other questions or comments? Okay, great. So looks like you're up again, Jeff.
Okay, hey, just a quick add-on to what Jennifer was saying. Yes, we did used to put it out there, and we did get a lot of hoarders, folks that would come in and just wipe us clean, and they come back. They said come back every week, so that was an issue. So, but yeah, so you're exactly right on limiting the frequency and the quantity that anybody can take. It's good practice. So, all right. I got a handful of just update items just for information for everybody. The first one is if you all recall, we had a Fix-It Fair last year, and then again this spring. We were received an award from the National Association of Counties for our Fix-It Fair program, particularly the one in fact last November. We had an application in for an award in the volunteer category, because the Fix-It Fair really was powered and fueled by volunteers. And we actually won the Best in Category award for volunteers for all counties across the country. So we were quite proud of that, and proud of our folks and the volunteers and our staff and the volunteers that made that happen. And so back in early mid-July, Amanda attended the NACO conference back in Philadelphia to receive the award up on stage there and get our kudos. And so we're pretty excited about that. So if you hadn't heard about that, just wanted to let you know. And again, we're going to continue with that program. We have another one coming up, I believe, in November.
Big shout out to Rob and Hope for pulling that off, making it happen.
And then Lacey Makerspace in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been trying to get that photo of Amanda on stage receiving the award, so we're looking for that still. And like I said, we'll be doing that again, also at Lacey Makerspace, which has really helped to make this whole thing possible. Their donation of their space and having the tools that they needed to do that work has been, been phenomenal. Additionally, next up is our litter program. Was also awarded a new 2-year community litter cleanup program grant from Ecology. And that became it's effective as of July 1st. So it's for the upcoming bienniums from July 1st of this year through June 30th of 27. So, and I believe it was, Mandy, you can correct me, is that up somewhere near like $175,000, $180,000, right around there.
Is 158, and then the
Oh,
grant
there we
money, the tools and trucks, they are probably not doing the tools and trucks this year.
Yep. So we'll have that for the next couple of years. Let's see, a large project that we're just wrapped up at the Waste and Recovery Center. We did a major lighting upgrade and retrofit. And we worked with Puget Sound Energy on this. They had a program for facilities like larger commercial industrial facilities, where they came in and they are swapping us over from fluorescent lighting to LED fixtures. So we signed up, had them come out and look at doing the transfer station building, which was very large. It had like 136 fixtures in the transfer station building, as well as the Hazel House and our maintenance shop. Basically, they came in and retrofitted all that. Let's see, there's a total in all, there's a total of 164 fixtures that were replaced. PSE estimates that the net energy savings from putting these new fixtures will be approximately $6,500 per year, which is not insubstantial. Additionally, they estimate about an annual CO2 reduction of approximately 47 tons per year of CO2. That's based upon the energy generation. So the cost of the retrofit for the transfer station building was actually split 50-50 with Republic Services, because that's the building that they work in, their office space. They operate that facility, and they pay the power bill for that particular building. So they paid half of that price. So I think the total cost for all of it was about $18,000, and with our cost, it's going to end up being around 11 or 12. When you take away the Republic's contribution as well. So again, as I mentioned, it's going to be about $6,000 a year, $6,500 a year in energy savings. So payback on that is very, very short. So, and that's all been completed and working well. So there's a lot of lights at the transfer station that hadn't been working in years, particularly on the underside and in the large opening bay. So it's we're really going to notice the difference when we get to the winter hours and it's dark outside. Before it was pretty dim out there. It's going to be like a prison compound or something. No, it's not quite that bad, but they'll be able to see what they're doing, because they start at 5:30 in the morning. So in the wintertime, it's darker than dark. So it's a big improvement, and we ended up getting it. They gave us an estimate. We ended up paying about 18 or 20 for all of it. The cost of it, that hadn't been subsidized by PSE, would have been well over $50,000. So it was a very, very good deal. Totally worth doing. The other key upgrade that we had happen at the Waste and Recovery Center is we have just completed installation of new security and fire alarm systems. Our previous systems were failing. Particularly the fire alarm was getting false alarms on a regular basis. It was, and the security alarm, it would utilize old phone lines, landlines that were no longer functioning well either. So everything now is, basically Wi-Fi over the air through the cloud, and it's all installed. It's complete and working well. We're happy with that. So that's a nice new improvement. That's just been completed. And then a couple other just waste reduction recycling highlights. As you heard about, the bike rescue program pilot began on July 1st. We've been getting a lot of interest so far, and we don't have, it's only been going a month. We don't have a lot of data to give you yet, but we'll be tracking that, and we can report on that further coming up. So so far it's been popular. Intercity transit has been very responsive in coming in and picking them up and hauling them away, taking them back to their shop to work on the bikes, and ultimately those bikes get back out into the community. So more to come on that, but that it is operating now and working well. The next one is just Master Recycler Composter training class is coming up soon. And so we are currently open for applications. If you know anybody, if you yourself or know anybody that would like to participate, the application period is open until September 19th. So you can get onto our website and get additional information. But particularly any new members here that are interested, it's a great learning experience. We have the opportunity to learn all about waste reduction, recycling, composting, and solid waste in general. And get a good wealth and breadth of knowledge. So that's happening here shortly as well. The classes start in September. And our next Recycling Matters presentation, where we go out into the community or occasionally online and provide discussions, Q&As on different topics. Our next opportunity will be, can this be recycled? That's the topic. It's on August 27th at 6 p.m. and it's being held at LeMay Pacific Disposal on Hogan Bay Road. So you can get onto our website, and there's a ability to pre-register for it. And the notes that will come out with the minutes will have that link as well. So you'll be able to, if you want to follow that and look into it, then that'd be great. And that was my manager's update. Any questions on any of the above? Or none of the above either? Great, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. So we've got time for some roundtable discussion. This is just kind of open forum. Just kind of raise your hand if you want something to share. And then we'll have announcements after that. Anything? Yeah, go ahead, Emily.
Thank you. I have two things. One is I do actually have a question for you, Jeff. I couldn't get my hand up quick enough, but I want to make sure that when I report out to the board on the transfer station retrofit, that I have the details. So, and that's really exciting that we were able to have cost savings by sharing with Republic and then having the PSE subsidy. What did the retrofit entail? Was it just the light fixtures or what else was there?
It was light fixtures, correct.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
That's a huge amount of savings for changing out the lights. Hopefully the Thurston Climate Mitigation Collaborative can kind of use that as rationale to move forward some of the initiatives on that end for light fixtures in other areas too.
Yeah, that was and that was all the information for that came from PSE. So basically they came out and did an audit of our facilities and
awesome.
And so we're quite excited about it, and it's great to be saving energy and money. So
yeah, that's amazing. Okay, awesome. So I guess I did catch all of that in my notes, so that's perfect. And then I guess my second question is I had a constituent inquire about joining SWAC, and I checked out the website and it doesn't seem very easy to tell if there are any vacancies. So do we know if there are any vacancies at this time?
there is one, but it's a specific one. It's for a representative from the city of Rainier.
Yeah, that's right.
And that position has been open for quite some time. We have not been successful in any help we could garner. Not been successful on getting so it'd be a city city council person from the city of Rainier.
Oh,
other than that, we are now fully staffed.
Okay. Do we know if anyone's terms are coming to an end anytime soon? Like when would the next opportunity be for someone to apply from the community?
For the public member, so that we have two public member positions, and I'll have to look at Laura for that one. So we have Lisa Harrison from District 1 and Jane Appling from District 5. I'm not sure. I don't know if you're able to.
If you navigate to the BOCC website and go to boards and commissions, our full roster of SWAC is available under the accordion group for the Solid Waste Advisory Committee. And then at the top of that page, there should also be a button for vacancies that'll show all the vacancies for each board and commission.
Okay, perfect.
So that'll get you all the dates, and I think I just updated that yesterday too, so it should be pretty accurate.
Okay, that's super helpful because I was looking at the advisory boards page, not the boards and commissions page. So that's helpful. I'll pass that along. Okay, thank you so much. That's all I had.
Of course.
Jennifer.
Also, Emily, sorry, really quick, I just wanted to say that, oh, hold on, I'm going on and off that. If anyone wanted to attend a SWAC meeting to give public comment, they're more than welcome to as well. Like they don't have to be part of SWAC to come hang out with us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pass that along too. Thank you.
Yeah, we've got 6 empty chairs at the table here, so there's space at the table.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And on Zoom, of course.
Yeah, lots of space on Zoom. Jennifer Johnson.
I just wanted to ask if the strike that was affecting some folks at the work has been dealt with.
Yes, actually, I forget the exact date. It was in a couple of weeks. They did actually come to an agreement, and that agreement is actually their first contract. So kind of a little history, just to give a brief history backwards. So that was back late last summer that a small subgroup of Republic's employees, 13 out of their 28 employees that work at the work and the Dropbox sites. And it's basically, it was just drivers and equipment operators. So they voted to unionize. And since that time, they've been, trying to negotiate their initial contract. They didn't have one. And so when they went out on strike, I think they were out about over just 2 to 3 weeks. I forget exactly. but yeah, they came to an agreement. I think it was like the 23rd of July, if I recall correctly. And they voted on it, approved it, and so they have a contract. And the next day they are all back at work, and that's where we're at. So they were successful in
That's
getting a
great.
contract.
Yay, that's great to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, we were happy about it too, because I mean, we were able to operate satisfactorily. It didn't affect, curbside service because Republic doesn't pick up curbside, but it's and Republic was able to bring in other workers to, during the interim. But yeah, it's just nice to have that completed and done. So for everybody.
So overall, Jeff, I mean, you just kind of made it sound like there wasn't much disruption from that. Is that accurate to say? It just didn't impact things dramatically at the train stations?
No, actually, the only thing is that they would sometimes slow walk across the crosswalk at the entrance just to slow, and mainly Republic's vehicles, occasionally some others, but that other than that, it didn't affect operations at the facility at all. I mean, we just operated as normal. So
great, thank you.
Anything else? Any other roundtable items from anybody else? I've got one. I'd like to get a sense from the group on other solid waste facility tours. We did Wharf July, and prior years we've done tours of Brady's over in Shelton, where they compost our organics. We've gone to Pioneer up in, was it Skyway? Anyway, it's in Pierce County, where there's a materials recovery facility where they process our recycling. And there's also our landfill in Klickitat County, operated by Republic. So organics, recycling, landfill, and I don't know how the best way to get an opinion here. I mean, not everybody is here today. Anybody have any special ones they want to see next to go see what these facilities look like? It gives you a real idea of what happens to a waste that we all generate.
I'll just say that Silver Springs is nearby, and usually happy to have tours and that kind of stuff, and I would be happy to help coordinate that if that was ever of interest as well. Just wanted to put that out there.
I'd like to tour Silver Springs also.
Okay, so that would be not Brady's, at Silver Spring. Okay.
Well, about obviously a fair amount of our yard debris, obviously all the yard debris that's picked up by Pacific and LeMay goes to Silver Springs, or all the other yard debris. So we kind of split. So yeah, that'd be perfectly fine. Chad, how would you be available to be able to do a tour of your facility at any time?
Yeah, we have more operations going on out of our Tacoma facility, so it'd be really neat for you guys to tour our Tacoma facility if you were more interested in that, if nobody's opposed to a little bit of a drive.
Well, last year we drove to the landfill in Klickitat County and back. So
Perfect.
It's really close compared to that.
Yeah.
Pioneer is not far either. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to
Always
see it
welcome.
too.
Always welcome a tour.
Okay, I think that would be interesting too. Well, why don't we set up both of those in the Silver Spring and the Tacoma or Chad's facility up there. I mean, we could swing by the one on Martin Way, just maybe a drive by or something. There's not a lot of space, and the size of what you're doing is less there, right?
Yeah, that's just one of our feeder facilities that up to our processing operations up here in Tacoma.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and can that be set up?
Mhm.
Okay, so let's do those. Let's set those up for later in the year then. And nobody wants to go to the landfill, Klickitat County. It's a long ways. Emily went with us last year. It was great. But it was really smelly too at this one point. There's a whole bunch of dead cow carcasses that were like right at the foot of the landfill where we were. And it was
like 110 degrees. That was
it was
ripe.
Very ripe, very ripe. Yeah. But it made it memorable. Yeah. So anyway.
Don't forget it.
Cool. Any other roundtable things?
I see one hand raised
Okay.
by David Hoffman. I'm gonna allow you to speak.
Okay, David Hoffman, go ahead.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, David Hoffman with Republic Services, and just wanted to say that there's an open invitation to tour the landfill anytime anybody wants to go over there. Just let me know. Happy to set something up. And short of making the what is I think a almost 8-hour round trip drive, we could also do a what I'll call a virtual tour where we can bring in some graphics and for anybody who's new on SWAC, we can share kind of what we do over there. So anyway, thank you for the opportunity to jump in here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, David. And you know, the missing would be the aroma.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
That's a big part of the experience.
Usually the aroma is much lower over there. But when you get those trucks with the carcasses come in, that's hard to avoid. Yes, that's a special moment.
Yeah, yeah, very good. Okay, any announcements for anybody? Jeff already went through some. Anything else people want to talk about? Announce? Okay. Well, I think that seems very fun, all right? It is. Okay. Well, thank you all for being here today, and we'll meet again in about a month. And I think I may not be here. So Chad, you might have to sit in the chair next time. I'll let you know for sure.
Yeah, just reach out. I'll be available, okay?
Cool. All right, thank you all. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.